I think it's inexorable. I think it is irresistible. If you look at the 1990s, the emergence of political correctness in the 1990s, which was beaten back very successfully by a coalition like us, well, we're the ones doing it now. And although in the 90s, these people, as Christina likes to say, got the assistant professorships and, stayed in tenure in the universities and all the rest of it, had to go away from the media, but never really went away. They just sort of, consolidated their power and returned as social justice warriors. This time, there's so much more on the line for them, because if they break this time, they are breaking, they are losing with the full support of politicians, the media, and academia. And if people rise up now and say this social justice thing, this language policing, this political correctness, safe spaces, trigger warnings, microaggressions, this stuff is horse shit. And if enough people smash its stranglehold on the public square, it will never recover. It will never come back in like this again, because it will lose at the height of its powers. It will lose in its strongest possible form. It will lose, as we say in the internet, in its final form. Social justice cannot get any stronger than it is now. It is at the peak of its powers, and it's losing. And it's losing because people want freedom. They want to be able to do, say, think, be, play, and read anything. And they have the faith in themselves and in other people that they are able to make the best judgments for themselves on what they believe in. They don't need to be told how to speak. They don't need to be told which books to read. They don't need to be told which video games are dangerous. They don't need to be told any of these things. They don't need to be instructed and lectured to by politicians. They don't need to be badgered and hectored by feminists. And they don't need to be lied to by journalists. And people are sick of it. And they are sick of the entire mendacious edifice. And this is what is happening so wonderfully right now with people like us and all the other conversations that are happening in cultural libertarian movement and in what I call Generation Trump and Daddy and all this kind of stuff. The fun, mischievous, trolly element on the internet. What is behind all of this, the heart of all of this, is that rejection, that fundamental rejection of the idea that somebody else knows better than I do how I should live my life.
Man, you know how to give a closing argument.
Yeah, that is Sir Milo, the political alt-right provocateur.
He's a flaming homosexual, and boy, does he know how to do it.
Man, you know what? I know he got a lot of heat.
He did.
Because he kind of mentioned the underage.
We talked about that in the
sex.
last podcast.
Yeah, it's kind of weird.
And you were right, because there is that period for these guys where they go through the social menage a trois, more or less, where there's these older men involved. And no, I don't think when he said that he was saying it was okay.
Yeah, it was never glorifying.
No, what he was saying,
it
it was an inevitable milestone that a young gay man at that particular time, in his particular geography,
right,
they had to deal with. And North London or South London, I don't know, but it's like New York City.
Yeah, see what I was getting at. You obviously got to throw a disclaimer out there. Because there's a lot of haters. But I'm on the. I have a Hulk Hogan fucking foam finger up for Milo.
Yeah, me too.
I really do appreciate what he does. He does get a rise out of people with intelligent arguments.
Yes, he's not being stupid about it. Anyway, what he talked about at the end of that little clip there was the I know something you don't know. Which more or less, if you think about kindergarten and recess, there was this club of people that were like, I know something you don't know. And they can use that to their advantage to
it could have been like
cripple their foes.
I know how to unlock Luigi in Mario 64.
Yeah, something like that.
You know what I'm saying? It doesn't exist.
No, but yeah.
They always act like they held this secret power over you, this secret knowledge.
It's ridiculous what
secrets
do.
They know better for you than you know yourself.
Right.
And that's insane. Yeah, but, obviously this counter alt-right movement was going to happen.
Yeah.
It just had to happen. Because logic starts to kick in as you get older.
Yep.
I was a fucking, flag-waving liberal when I was...
Both of us were.
Yeah, when I was like 18,
Yeah. I was young.
But we talked about this a couple days ago. It's just like at the same time we did have the most openly, annoyingly dumb president at this, at the same time.
I mean,
and he won by suspicious ways.
Yeah,
The recount, man. He got recounted.
they were throwing votes out the window. They had Congress people come up there and representatives.
And it came down to Florida.
Yeah,
and
Florida,
Jeb.
the hanging Chad.
Yeah,
thing,
had to fucking save him.
Yeah, Jeb Bush. Not at all suspicious.
Yeah.
You got to be fucking ridiculous to think that was fair. But, we're over that now. Here we are, 2017. We live in this conundrum of weird political structure. And
You're
weird social
always
structure.
afraid of hurting someone's feelings.
Yeah.
But this, I kind of feel sorry for the snowflakes sometimes.
Yeah.
Because when you give them an argument, they just fucking crumble, dude.
Yeah.
It's just like they don't have. Okay, they have feeling. They have like
Right.
something that they feel is right.
Right.
But they don't have any concrete fact or
Well,
logic
yeah.
behind it.
Emotion sometimes will trump logic, and that's a problem.
I will do
Anything for love. But even Meatloaf had a line drawn. That's basically what that
But
song
he
was
won't
saying.
do that.
He won't do that. But yeah, I mean, culture in America has, and I've said this to myself many times, and I've also in writing, that I believe American culture has been in decline for some time. And most of it is relative to the environment they was raised in and influences, so on and so forth.
Right.
And I can't really say with assurance that there is a light at the end of this tunnel. I really see it going to the bottom before it gets better, but I don't even know if that's better. I think it'll get worse before it gets mediocre, I think is the term that I would say, or phrase.
I do not remember the woman's name, but she is a real deal old school feminist. She was talking about when she studies cultures.
Yeah.
I think she's talking about maybe the 1500s, 1600s, right before there was a big cultural shift.
Yeah.
Or like one era of a certain belief system was phased out and brought into another one. There was a rise of extreme, I want to call cucks, basically.
Right.
Beta males.
Beta males, yeah.
Yeah, it was really feminine men.
Yeah.
It was at the tail end of that culture. It was like an epidemic of it.
Right.
Then a new culture rise.
Rose, yeah.
Or rose, yeah. So it makes me think: are we in that now?
Yeah,
are we
absolutely.
in that ascending to a new?
One of the most interesting things about our culture I do find fascinating is our founding fathers, for the most part, were wig-wearing, heel-wearing fucking bisexuals.
Okay, all right.
More or less, Ben Franklin had fucked everything that said yes. And, and it's not about judging them. The thing is, it's about them condemning others for certain activities.
Yeah, that's a very common theme.
Yeah, all men are created equal except for there's a big asterisk there in the Constitution or the Declaration of Independence where there's always an asterisk. There's always an exception to the rule. They didn't bother mentioning that, but they did know that, like that South Park episode where it's like, all we have to do is lead by what we say, not but what we do.
Yeah.
And that's absolutely correct. And so you had a bunch of heel-wearing, wooden teeth, equipped, wig-wearing, cocaine addicts that had overcome the brown people that originally lived here. They formed an establishment because they were upset with the King of England. And, you look back at it, you look at it now, we're all fucking upset about taxes and gas prices and so on and so forth. At the end of the day, everything is about participation, and long as every upright individual in this country continues to work and pay taxes, you are part of the problem. And that's a hard thing to swallow.
But at the same time, you can also help be part of the solution. Too,
Exactly.
though.
Sometimes
you know,
absence is
if you pay
thing.
the taxes, you kind of have a little bit of a say-so
Right,
on
but
where it goes.
but that
As it stands now, no.
No, it doesn't matter. Yeah. You gave me money, I can do what I want, And I think a lot of people need to start examining that as deep as they possibly can instead of thinking that it's relegated to a left or a right paradigm. It boils down to participation and whether or not you want to focus. Because, I think it's fascinating. People die. You've
Yes.
been to enough funerals and...
What a racket that is.
It's
what a racket.
fun, let me tell you. He worked until he died, or she worked until she died. And, I get it. You have work ethic, but you had children. There's not, it's hardly a sense of, this person affected me on a spiritual level. I started understanding where I was in life, and I knew there was more than life than money and material. That it's very rare. Instead, we kind of label them as hippies or some ridiculous notion. Of,
we talk about the people that
don't do it.
That didn't work until they died.
Yeah, you're just a Satanist.
But see, I think the definition of work has been completely changed now.
Yeah, absolutely.
Everyone does. Everyone does some type of work.
Everyone does something they rather not do for the greater good.
Because they have to.
That. They
I
have
mean,
to.
It's
They
part
have
of
no
it.
choice.
It's like, I know, the necessary evil, but at the same time, you don't have to like it.
All I'm saying is a true protest. If tomorrow we say that everyone decided they didn't want to go to their jobs, everyone, like we'll say, 7.1 billion people and growing. We'll just say half of that decided they didn't want to go to work that day. It would pretty much stop everything, and then, But I think that in retaliation, they would end up killing us. But I'm just saying.
As far as, like, being known for something, I'd rather be known for having a badass fucking tuna salad or maybe possibly the most amazing fried bologna sandwich you ever put in your mouth. I just want someone to be like, hey, man, he just worked and he died.
Yeah.
No one wants to be remembered for that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I mean, they admire it.
I like to contribute, like to be known as I contributed to something other than, the bare necessities. Fucking Baloo or whatever it's talking about. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. I think that, I don't know, man. We've been to way too many funerals in our lifetime, and I think that's what made us choose the life that we have left. And I think that what I've realized is, a lot of people work too hard for nothing. Not to disparage them or to put them down because they did put up with it. It's not so much about what you put up with as what you reassign as the standard. Because all of our heroes are people that said, fuck you, fuck that, I'm doing it my own way.
Yes. See, I think personally,
you should do that.
I love doing work that personally affects people.
Exactly. Farm work is admirable.
Yeah, I mean, also,
You're
I'm just talking about,
feeding
like, emotionally supporting someone.
Yes,
sometimes.
absolutely.
Absolutely.
Talking to somebody.
That's, to me, that, has a more long-lasting...
Mm-hmm. Doing shit like this.
You can't put a pay grade on that.
Exactly. We don't monetize any of our fucking videos. Because at the end of the day, like, if we get 48 views, I know we earned it.
Yeah. We
You know
didn't
what I'm
hoard
saying?
out or, like, or do nothing.
We earned that.
We didn't bend over,
No,
we
didn't
pay,
tell YouTube to do it.
Yeah, we didn't pay YouTube $100 just so I can say 1,000 plays.
Yeah, exactly, because that's bullshit, guys. Sorry, but we know it's bullshit.
Hey, dude, I love... Capitalism is awesome. But, as an educated man, I also know there's a dark side of capitalism.
Yes.
But generally, it's fucking awesome.
It works out for some people. Sometimes it don't. It depends on your attitude and your well-being and stuff at the time. But
Yeah, but what I'm getting at, with at our father's eulogy,
Yeah.
we didn't just be like, oh, he just worked hard and raised his
No,
kids.
we told them exactly
Everything,
how he was,
everything. It was sad.
but it was true.
Yeah. See, that's the thing. It's truth.
It's truth, and truth is the most persistent. A lot of people do like the fiction because it's entertaining and it's fun. But at the end of the day, the truth to me, when they said it was stranger in fiction, I think it's far more entertaining. You have to get to the bare minimum. You have to also get to the
I'm a
bone.
victim of fiction addiction.
Yeah.
I love escapism and all that, but most of the time it is rooted in reality.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
how would you relate to it if it wasn't rooted in reality?
Yes, but here we are to this famous segment.
Okay.
It came from CNN. And here's a few headlines.
All right.
Here's the big red one at the top.
Okay.
The wealthy Republican donor at the center of the explosive lawsuit against Fox News speaks to Chris Cuomo. Ooh, that's on Watch CNN right now.
Like
CNN.
Like CNN doesn't take goddamn wealthy contributions from wealthy people with wealthy opinions.
Yeah.
I find it fascinating. There's people out there that still put a lot of faith in this stuff, and I feel sorry for you, to be honest.
I think it's very low now.
It's
at
sad.
the lowest it's ever been.
This is sad, guys. If you guys still put a lot of faith in this, you're lost. You're done. Forget it.
Okay, here we go. And here's the...
No one's going to trust you.
Here's the big, bold headline. This is kind of a big one. U.S. would win, but at what cost? U.S. military options against North Korea come at a price. Scenarios are shown. Here's some fucking...
Why would you do that?
Extended universe Star Wars writers being like, what if Michael Jordan went to North Korea instead of Dennis Rodman? Can you imagine what kind of strategies it would have against America in military strategy? What if scenarios? It's just
what people need to understand on a baseline level when it comes to war. Most of the time it's over resources, and it's also over the resources quality. When you're using atomic bombs and so on and so forth, and depleted uranium and radiation. Right now, someone like China needs land for water and crop growth. They're not going to sit there and fucking bomb their potential growth area. Why would they do that?
Yeah, but see, I was also talking about this earlier, but I'm sure some crack scientist has made a nuclear bomb or a nuclear missile or something that only has a half-life of 5 years.
Right.
Because, the scorched earth policy comes with some problems.
Yes, it does.
And I think they kind of micromanage that to a certain point where they can drop a nuke and blow your shit up.
Right.
But you can move in within 5 years, which is doable once you think about it.
Right.
That's kind of scary.
Yeah, it is. It really is. And I think, again, we go back to that whole how you lived your life. And I lived and worked and paid taxes. Yeah, absolutely. Why would you contaminate your potential cash cow?
That's a good question.
You have to think logically.
Yeah,
Nuclear war is not on the table.
And no one's ever done it.
Right.
No one's going to do it.
No, because they
really
learned their
don't.
lesson. And I think in reality, what we have to worry about is biological slow kills. Like our food and our water.
Okay, speaking of dropping bombs.
Yeah.
The sequel to An Inconvenient Truth came out.
Oh,
it was a
Al
bomb.
Gore. Yeah.
Yeah, it was middle of the road reviewed. But now we have Al Gore and CNN.
Yeah.
He's like Al Gore tackles the climate change crisis in CNN town hall.
Al Gore, him and his wife Tipper had a divorce about 2010 or 9. Al Gore accepted a very large payment to do what he did. George Bush Jr. got in.
He was clearly screwed.
And
but like it matters.
yeah, I know, but at the end of the day, the climate change issue boils down to a population issue, and a population issue equals genocide. So that's something you guys have to think about. There's too many of us, in their eyes. There's too many of us draining on resources and food. They want less of us. So the quicker that you come to that conclusion and realize it and deal with it, the better off you are. I personally believe that the sun is moving a little bit further away from the earth, and I think we're getting to maybe a cooler age. But, I don't know. At the end of the day, when it comes to science and climate science, there's no way I can verify its truth. Only thing I know is I can step outside.
I got really into the whole cosmology when it's cosmology.
Yeah, me too.
The cosmos.
Yeah.
Well, I started running into a lot of brick walls. I've
Yeah,
read
me
a
too.
lot of Stephen Hawking's, a lot of fucking. I'm name dropping here, guys, but Stephen Hawking's and fucking Carl Sagan. And Neil deGrasse Tyson.
Yeah.
All that's just based off theory.
Even they would say that. That's the thing.
I know, and
like Sagan would be like,
how can we know what's going on in our Milky Way solar system if we cannot even touch the bottom of the
our
ocean? Because there are creatures that live
Well put.
on the
Well put.
near the bottom, the darkest
Absolutely.
areas
Yeah.
of the fucking ocean, maybe like fucking 300 miles down or
Yeah,
whatever.
absolutely.
They don't live on oxygen, dude. Or
And-
light. They live on carbon monoxide.
Yeah, no oxygen at all.
And no light at
Yeah,
all.
you look at the
But
deep
they
ocean.
thrive.
Yeah,
So that is something we need to know about more.
We need to
so
look into.
than,
Yeah.
stars are pretty.
yeah.
Look
How,
at the
how do we know about
stars.
the habitat of a galaxy that we're so far away from? How many light years? Like thousands, or if not millions, away. But yet we're still trying to figure out our own shit, like Hurricane Katrina and Hurricane Sandy and all these freak storms. Yeah, it's called bullshit,
It
ladies
is.
and gentlemen.
It is. And, I used to prescribe to the particular
Me
bullshit.
too.
I
I
love
did.
science. I love
I do
science,
too.
man.
I'm a science guy, but come on.
Alan Orange, a science
Sky.
guy. Alan Orange.
But Mac,
In fucking It's Always
So
Sunny.
Yeah, what is the name? It's
I don't
the
know,
court
off the top of
case.
my head.
But anyway, I believe that. There's bullshit artists in every form of philosophy that you can come up with.
Hey, it's capitalism, man. Making cash, we need to take a break. Yeah, so basically we just got to figure out what we're doing down here before we start shooting off shit
Oh
into
yeah,
space.
we can come up with all kinds of ideologies and hypotheticals. But I think at the end of the day, you look at your brain. Your brain is surrounded by darkness. Our light is perceived through our eyeballs. This is something that's more or less artificial, and the sun, which you can see why the sun was worshipped for as long as it was raw.
Yeah, because it's
Yeah.
fucking dark and cold and scary,
And it
oh,
brings
shit,
us-
yeah,
and it brings
there's the
us,
sun.
crop.
Every party,
Yeah, so I get that. The level of acceptance and our general just demeanor towards different ideologies should be changed. I think instead of pitchforks and fire and torches, I think we should go more into logistics and other measurements. I think we should be more inquisitive. We should stop before we shoot.
Yeah,
There's people out there that will hurt your feelings and hurt your family and your property. But I think at the end of the day, you have to be very perseverant and knowledgeable to know that some people don't need to be hurt. They need to be enlightened.
Let's move on to the Fox News headlines at the website. Who we got? We got Watchdog. Pentagon almost gave cops $1 million in guns and bobs, and they
I
were
believe it.
fake cops. They were
Okay.
posing.
All right, Fox, you got me.
See,
That's
always,
not bad. Fox, I got to give them credit. Not
they have
bad.
some interesting.
They do.
Yeah,
They do.
It's silly.
It might be
to think about.
alarmist or extremist or sensationalist, but I get it. I get it.
Let's see what we got here. Outrage over DOJ calling illegal immigrants illegal. What was it? Okay.
That's a touchy subject.
Let's go ahead. Yeah, I will talk about it.
All
I
right.
will. I don't give a shit. I tell you. You know how much? Okay, we got to. You know how much a fucking passport costs?
It's
I'm just saying-
$200 to $300.
It's.
What
I
Mitch
mean,
said.
all together. You know, it's like there's a
It's-
lot of
it
cash.
costs money.
You
Triple
constantly got to update it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if I want to move to say Italy
Yeah.
or Amsterdam,
Yeah.
I have to fill out
Mm-hmm.
a series of forms and papers and get processed
Yes.
and approved to be a part of that country.
You also have to be vouched by the local police and the state police to make sure you don't have
So-
a criminal record. Yeah.
With that being said,
Or you haven't been profiled as well.
if you're an illegal immigrant,
Yeah.
that is illegal.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That
It's
is the key
common
word is-
sense. Yeah.
is illegal.
Yeah.
Illegal. That's I can't get behind that.
No, me
Because
neither.
if you're going to move to quote unquote this country, I'm not a bigot. I'm not a racist. I'm not a
no,
piece of shit.
it's just the law, dude. It's
That's
like
part of
we
it.
can't do it.
Because we can't do it. Why should I say it's okay for you to do it?
Double standards. Yes, absolutely. And I would gladly fill out the paperwork if I made the commitment.
Yes.
I would go that far. You know, we was talking about in the last podcast about the about traditions and so on and so forth. Like,
Yeah, it was talking about shitting.
yeah,
shitting in the
you
sink
have
and,
to be.
you know,
Again, this is relative.
respectful of every culture you
Exactly.
move to.
It's called intelligence. You don't want to parade around like your ideology is the fucking gospel. You want to
Right,
parade
right.
around like I'm trying to be free. I'm trying to be loose because I like my friends. I like to make new friends and meet new people. And I don't want to discourage or discriminate. I want to learn and to expand. But yeah, absolutely. If we were trying to get anywhere else, and I understand it, like if I was trying to get into Europe, I expect a fucking questionnaire and an assessment test, just much as you do for McDonald's, guys.
I know. You got to fill out an application.
Fill out an application. They're asking all these hypothetical questions, and they dictate your hiring how you answer it.
Yeah, it's going to be a long wait.
So
Just
shut
gonna be-
up.
yeah,
Basically, just like, all right, I get it.
It kind of blows my mind.
It does blow my mind.
Because
But
every
you know
time
what?
everyone says, "Well, you're an immigrant," and it's like
I didn't ask to be here.
Yeah, that's number one right there, and number two is just like that's not a completely valid argument.
And what's the thrill? What is the thrill case of going to another country to make it like the one you used to live in? There's no thrill in that.
Hey man, America's a fucking melting pot.
It was.
yeah,
It still is. But I'm just saying, you have to just be logical about it.
I come off as an asshole when I say that. It's like, sometimes I hear people say, my country is great. I love my country. It's the best country in the world. When they say that, they're living in America.
Yeah.
If it's so great and so awesome,
Yeah.
then why are you here?
Mm-hmm. What is your motives?
Yeah.
I think, we was talking about this earlier, but people don't remember about how the Italians, the Armenians, and the Grecians, the Greek immigrants here, during the time of the give us your poor and huddled masses, how much shit they went through.
Yep.
Blacks also, Indians, Native Americans. Every single one of us went through a bunch of shit. You know what they did? They grew a pair of balls and fucking they stood up. That's why we have respect for them.
Yes.
And that's why racism isn't as bad as it used to be. We were like, you know what, dude?
Oh, they try to make it a thing.
Yeah, they did. But, at the end of the day, they all sit there and be like, you know what, dude? You stood for what you believed in. You stood up for your family. You stood up for your race and whatever the fuck.
Your moral
we respect
compass
you.
was...
And, yeah. And at the end of the day, our Native Americans were called Indians because of a fatal mistake from Columbus where he thought he discovered India.
Yeah, he wasn't the first dude to do it.
No,
but,
it's
you know,
bullshit. But it's cool that, we accept it. But at the same time, people need to start looking realistically from their peripherals as opposed to the propaganda, which is what rules our
I
lives.
just say, I'm just saying, it's not hypothetically, this is fact. Not everything in life, in anyone's culture, is 100% positive.
No.
Never.
No, it comes with...
Realistically, there's some good shit, and there's some
bad
god-awful
shit.
stuff no
Yeah,
one's
it's
talking
terrible.
about. Like, Indians were fucking Native Americans, not Indians.
whatever the fuck you want to call them.
Whatever.
Yeah.
They were fucking assholes, too, though. They were fucking
wouldn't you
dicks.
be? Wouldn't you be if someone's like, I'm taking over your land? No, you're not. You're going to be a little apprehensive,
but
and your alpha
sometimes-
males are going to take over.
Hey, man, there's a lot of disgraceful, degenerate fucking practices that happen
Yes.
in Native American culture.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, a lot of raping, a lot of, a lot of scalping.
Genocide, yeah.
Yeah, it
Well,
happened within its own group.
we don't
So,
know.
We're
That's the
humans. We are human beings. All of us are humans. We're inherently pieces of shit.
thing. Yes. And this also goes back to me saying we didn't ask to be here in the first place. So free will is kind of a subjective and very loose term. Me and Casey are here because Mom and Dad thought it was a good idea to fuck.
And it didn't pull out. They didn't pull out.
They
And
didn't
here we
pull
are.
out. And that's why we're here. So, you had to deal with that. But yeah, I think life is a lot of fun. And it's also a lot of questions. And I think it's fine to try to figure out answers. I just think it's not fine when you want to start wars and kill people over a perception that you're not quite sure about.
Yeah, so moving on to movie news and films that the weekend box office segment, sometimes it's a sad lot. A couple podcasts back, I've been bitched and groaned about
Rightfully
fucking
so.
Transformers.
Yeah.
Everyone hates those movies, but they make billions of dollars.
They do. They make enough.
But I guess the big weekend release was the Emoji film,
Yeah.
the Emoji movie.
Yeah.
Sony done something really good with Spider-Man Homecoming. I haven't seen the film. I don't know if the film was good or not, but it did get some bank, made some cash. Then they throw out the Emoji movie, and I just don't understand.
I see it as an act of desperation, for one thing. It's very easy for me to cross the line and say some derogatory remarks about the people that see these films. But I do understand that children and people under the age of 18 is a big demographic for Hollywood, and they need it because it makes money. But what I will say, as we said in the last podcast, I personally believe Spider-Man was destroyed a long time ago.
Yes. We got.
But we did understand that there was going to be the inevitable retooling to fit into the adventure storyline because Iron Man is going to leave, and they got
he's gone. Yeah. But the cultural significance of the Emoji movie.
I know that we all use emojis. We also use gasoline. I haven't seen a gas movie yet.
That's true.
What I'm seeing is a haphazard comedy film that's punched up.
It was a computer generated film.
Yes, and that's there's nothing wrong with that.
Every time
It's
I
just-
checked in on the film, it was on Rotten Tomatoes. It did hover with a 0% for the longest time.
Yeah,
Then eventually got a 6%.
that's
I
terrible.
think it might be the lowest reviewed film of the year.
Well,
which is, I kind of, that's one of those kind
Again-
of things I kind of want to search for because
Yeah.
if it's so bad it's good. Then,
what's going on here?
But a lot of the reviews on IMDb, which give it a 1.6 out of 10, says it's not even so bad it's good.
Yeah, that's right.
It's not even a,
I think there's more to it, Case. Emojis and texting and our digital devices are very important to our lives right now. I understand that. It's an easy demographic to tap into. I personally don't get it, but there's people that do. And I'm not, this is difficult because when I speak out critically about this, they assume that it's with, well, I guess you can say it's with hatred. I think it's mostly with misunderstanding. I don't understand it. Because emojis are.
Well, to me, it was just a logical conclusion.
It was going to happen. But what I'm saying is.
This kind of, there's a lot of people that invested time
and money into it, yeah.
Yeah.
Voice acting and
everything.
9 yards.
Like T.J. Miller's in this fucking film.
And he's a great actor and a great comedian.
There's a lot of other people, like high-profile motherfuckers.
But if someone came up to me or Casey and said, would you do voices for this film? We would absolutely do it at the drop of a dime.
So that's number 2 in the box office with $24 million.
Don't agree with it, but that's fine.
Number 1 is Dunkirk.
Right.
The latest Christopher Nolan.
It's a World War II thing.
It made $26 million.
I need to look more into it.
Here's the thing that
Rob actually knows more about it.
Well, Dunkirk, whatever.
Yeah.
Number 3, Girls Trip. That made $19 million.
Okay, is this like a road trip film, I assume?
There's trip in the name. There's trip in the name, so maybe it's maybe it's about ecstasy or
I don't know.
Acid.
I really don't know.
At number 4, and we can talk about this.
Okay.
This is the pronoun pro woman agenda being pushed. Atomic Blonde. It's kind of like kind of reminds me of the trailers do at least kind of remind me of that fucking what the fuck, what's the dude's name? The guy directed Zack Snyder's.
Yeah.
That crazy film he done with the crazy guns. I can't tell you right now. But Atomic Blonde is definitely pushing the feminist agenda with.
It's easy money. I don't think there's a stone unturned in Hollywood. And if there was a stone that they find or discover, they will turn it over and look at it and see what kind of money they can make from it. Because at the end of the day, individuals, listeners, you're looking at what was once a grand industry that has suffered quite a bit of money loss since 2005, I will say. And they're willing and more than willing to take these kind of marketing study chances to give you a visual representation of how you feel, because they know that you would pay to see it. I really wish it's over with. And I think that it is on its way out. And that's why you see these things. And gaming also is in the same vein. We're seeing some things that are desperate. And you look at the...
what Atomic Blonde reminded me of is Sucker Punch. That's like an all-female...
Okay. Right.
It's like feminist movement.
Yeah, and see, there's nothing against it.
There's nothing against it at all.
Like $1 Million Baby was.
I think Charlize Theron stars in Atomic Blonde.
Monster.
Number 5, is Sony's fucking Spider-Man: Homecoming.
Okay.
They made $13 million.
Iron Man on his way out.
Number 4, I do really enjoy the Planet of the Apes films.
I do too. I was surprised by it.
The War of the Planet of the Apes film made $10 million.
Okay.
It's not at number 6. Number 7 is Despicable Me 3.
Okay.
Whatever.
That's going to be there for a while.
But here's the thing we need to talk about is Valerian, the City of 1,000 Planets, which is Luc Besson's passion project. That he's, it's based off a series of, I think, comic books and novels, and only popular in France and Europe. But I don't blame the dude. I mean, you can just look at his name and what's his name?
Right.
Luc Besson. But here's a problem. Apparently, the reason the film isn't doing so well is because of terrible marketing. I've seen 4 trailers of that fucking movie,
Right.
and I don't know what the fuck is going on. I
Yeah.
don't know what it is. I
Well,
don't know the universe. No one told me.
It's much like the Wii U. It's very much like the Nintendo Wii U.
I
is
can
what
see that.
think of. People don't know sometimes.
Yeah, but that made $6 million. But
Okay.
dude, it had a fucking
Could you imagine having?
had a close to a $250 million budget.
Could
I
you
think
imagine?
This is maybe its 3rd weekend. It might have 18 million. To its
Okay.
credit now.
So what's the studio behind it though? Is it Warner Brothers, Disney, or Legendary Films?
Oh, STX.
Really?
Yeah.
So that's an independent film company. Actually,
so.
they did pretty well then.
Well,
If you think about it, but I'm not saying it's right. I'm just saying that, it's not a bad idea.
understand that. Okay, at number 9 we have Baby Driver. Fucking old
Jamie
dude.
Foxx.
Yeah, dude, Kevin
Edgar
Spacey.
Wright, yeah.
Edgar Wright kicking ass.
Um,
He finally made some money at the box office. Good for him.
He did well last week, I assume, because a lot of people will talk about that film.
It's good for them. They made $3 million. You
Yeah,
know, good.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
and number 10, we have Wonder Woman, which also made.
It's going to be
$3
there for a
million.
while, too.
But here's the thing: I'm going to skip around to.
All right.
These are 2 interesting names that I think should be mentioned. These are debut numbers. Okay. At number 21 is Wolf Warrior 2. What the
Okay.
fuck is Wolf Warrior?
Is
What
it
the
like
fuck is that?
Teen Wolf or whatever?
What is that about? And there's the sequel?
Yeah, it's the second one. Yeah, you're right. Like, what happened there?
That film made $219,000.
That's more money than I've ever made in my life.
I've ever seen, I guess.
Yeah,
all
you're
at
right.
one.
Yeah.
Okay, that's at number 21. That's a very peculiar
Yeah,
name for a
okay.
film.
All right.
At number 28 is Al Gore's an inconvenient sequel, Truth to Power,
All
and it
right.
made $124,000, and we're talking debut box
I'm
office.
sure the budget was
This is
0.
debut box office.
All right. Okay, that's very interesting that you bring that up. When it comes to documentaries such as this, and such as the original Inconvenient Truth, it was a modest budget. He made his budget back fairly easy, just as much as Michael Moore did with Fahrenheit 9/11 and Bowling for Columbine. It's easy to make a film on a skewed opposition or a skewed opinion. You make a bunch of money off of it. You take the money. Now, see, the thing is with Al Gore, Tipper, which is his wife, left him.
That's yes. Okay. All right. We
And,
kind of brought that up earlier.
Under,
yeah.
I'm assuming under the pros that Al Gore was part of the Bush monopoly, which he willingly accepted his screw job of his presidency.
Okay. So what are you getting at?
What I'm saying is Al Gore is full of shit,
Well, yeah.
and I remember telling somebody, those glaciers melted, but they froze back.
Yeah, it was like the polar bears.
Oh God!
We gotta get
I
polar
didn't
bears
want
a new house.
Look! I was just like everyone else. I was like, "Oh shit, that's a problem," But Al Gore knows what he's doing is bullshit. But he's part of the depopulation agenda that's been around since the 1960s. United Nations had
Yes.
had an opinion about resources and.
I'm pretty sure Al Gore just watched Bill Clinton get his dick sucked a
Well,
lot.
yeah, he did. He saw Bill get. Look, we can say what we want. He wasn't a great president, but he was a good pimp.
Yeah, well, he was
Hillary, I personally believe Hillary
okay,
is like
whatever. But Al Gore was there.
Al Gore
Al
and
Gore
Tipper Gore was
put
there.
out a sequel to $1 million film.
It was a big film
at the box office.
It did, like
$124,000.
Yes,
is a drop in the hat.
He gave away. He gave away the first Inconvenient Truth.